Most business people know about LinkedIn, but they don't really know how to leverage LinkedIn effectively to be able to grow their business. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk to you about 3 specific areas. 1, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile so that you can market to people who don't actually know you. The second is to be able to leverage LinkedIn groups so that you can warm up cold calls. You'll never have to make another cold call, and your business development efforts will be much more successful. The third area is teaching you how to download your LinkedIn contacts so you can create custom marketing programs by editing the contacts that you have in your LinkedIn database in an Excel spreadsheet format. All of these will allow you to be more effective in your business development efforts, more targeted in those efforts as well, and at the same time be able to grow your book of business. In this module, I want to talk about the importance of optimizing your LinkedIn profile. The reason for that is most people today in a business development role are out trying to find new contacts, people that don't know them today. And so one of the first things they're going to do as a prospect is to look you up on LinkedIn. So you need to make sure that you represent yourself in the way that you want to be represented before you ever have the opportunity to speak to them, either over the phone, in person, or via email. So let's walk right through this. The first thing that I think you should do in terms of being able to optimize your profile is to create a professional URL. So what I mean by that is most of the time LinkedIn will give you words, alphabet, numbers, symbols, etc. But you want it to represent who you are. So my URL is linkedin.com/n/rjohnboyens. The reason I have the R in front of that, that's my first name. And when I joined LinkedIn, there was already a John Boyens on LinkedIn, so I needed to distinguish myself. So create a professional URL. Second, I'd add a LinkedIn background photo to your personal profile. I'm not talking about your picture. I'm talking about the gray space that's behind your picture that can amplify or give you some additional personality. The third is to optimize your headline. Now, a lot of people listening to this tutorial may not even know what a headline is, because when you signed up for LinkedIn, you filled in your title or your company name, etc. You followed the template they gave you. But the headline is actually 120 characters where you can differentiate yourself or your company from others in your space. We'll talk more about this in the tutorial later on. I want to make sure that your summary speaks to your target audience. Once again, a lot of people that are on LinkedIn don't even know that a summary is available. And I like to put the summary section directly below my headline because it gives me an opportunity to go a little deeper dive in my introduction to get people that want to connect to me or learn more about me. Next, I would search optimize your profile. Use keywords or search phrases in your profile. What would somebody look for to find you? So if you were in sales, you might end up putting words like sales, business development, retention, renewal, cross-selling, and others to be able to get found. That's the whole key in LinkedIn, is to have somebody find you that you aren't actively marketing to. I think it's important that you list all relevant past positions. You notice I said relevant. Sometimes people want to list everything that they do, and I think it's important that you list who you are today and how you want to be known today. Make sure you include keywords for each of the titles. I think you want to include keywords in your skills and expertise and experience sections. I think you want to request endorsements and recommendations for each of those relevant positions. And then remember, LinkedIn allows you to add, remove, or rearrange entire sections of the profile. So make sure that the people see you the way you want to be seen and that the most important pieces are up front. So as you look here, you'll see a background picture for me. The background I use is me speaking in front of a large audience. So somebody gets the idea that I'm a speaker, a trainer, a consultant, etc. The second piece that we want to look at here is the headline. So you see the highlighted area, and this highlighted area gives you a feel of who I am. You notice it doesn't have my title. It doesn't have my company name there. There are words or phrases that people will look for to find someone like me, and it allows me to improve my marketing and branding. When you go to the summary section, I've broken it down into 3 sections. And I think it's important that you understand the purpose of all 3, and you can use mine as a guideline. I think most people today have a tendency to read in bullets. So being able to have bullets there makes it easier for them to digest all that is important about you. So the first paragraph is about you as a person. It talks about you, your experience, your skill sets, the awards or recognitions that you've had, etc. The second section is about the company that you work for or the company that you represent. Once again, awards, recognition, differentiation, etc. Make sure that you separate those two. And then I would add a third section in the summary, and that section is about your core competencies or your expertise or experience. Once again, in a bulleted fashion, and you'll notice throughout the summary, the first part's about you, the second part's about your company, the third part is about your core competencies. There are search-optimized words and phrases throughout my entire summary so that people will get that feeling of redundancy and that they know what's special or important about me. After your summary, then you can start to list your experience, your current position first, and then you go back in time. And once again, in this particular case, you still have words and phrases that you can add in front of the headline. So for the Boyens Group, I'm the co-founder and president. But I also wanted to add the words sales productivity expert and business strategist in front because that is in fact who I am. And that makes it again easier for people to find you. So you want to be able to add those search optimized words in your experience section. The next section that you have on your LinkedIn profile would be skills and endorsements. And I want to make sure I separate the two of them. In the skills and endorsements section, the most endorsements or the most skills that you can have listed are 99 plus. So you'll see in mine strategy or leadership, sales process, etc. Those I have 99 plus endorsements for. That's a key to you being able to be valued or differentiated in the market. Now, when you get to the actual endorsements piece, you'll realize that a lot of times you're endorsed by somebody who doesn't even really know you that well and doesn't necessarily even know that that's something you're good at. And so I'm not sure that it's always worth the paper that it's printed on, but I will tell you this with an absolute. If you don't have enough endorsements there under your skill sets, that's a red flag. So that if you're a strategist and you don't have 99 plus endorsements under strategy, that would be a red flag to that prospect. The next section is about giving and getting recommendations. Now, recommendations are completely different than endorsements. These are people that are writing a narrative about you, about something that you do well, and they're recommending you. And so the neat part about the recommendation piece is when somebody sends you a recommendation, LinkedIn sends you a message that says, so-and-so just gave you a recommendation. Would you like to add it to your profile? So you get to make sure that the wording is the way you want it to read, that they've highlighted the key points, etc. And then you can add it to your profile. If you want to make modifications or changes, you're able to send a note back to the person that was writing the recommendation asking for those edits. So when we talk about the importance of optimizing your profile, it really has several key benefits to you. Number one, it allows you to position yourself the way you want to be positioned without even having made contact with the individual. Second, it lets you differentiate yourself from others that are on LinkedIn that have a similar expertise or a similar experience base. And third, with the optimization piece, people that are looking for help in specific areas that you can help them will pop out and populate more quickly. In this module, I want to talk about the importance of leveraging LinkedIn groups from a business development standpoint. Here's the bottom line. You'll never have to cold call again if you use LinkedIn groups to effectively warm up your cold calls. So before I get into the specifics, let me give you some background so everybody understands. LinkedIn groups provide a place for professionals to network, share content and ideas, recruit talent, look for work, and to establish industry or subject matter expertise. So it's a very broad-based area that you can use to your advantage. So let's get some basics. Number one, you can join up to 50 LinkedIn groups. Now, this is not like Facebook fan pages. Groups are something that you want to interact with. So I've kept my groups right about 40 over the years so that I can be active within those groups. If you're a member of the same group as another user, you can bypass the need to be a first-degree connection in order to message them. Well, what does that mean? Well, today, if you're not a member of a group and you try to use LinkedIn, especially the free version of LinkedIn, you have to have somebody's LinkedIn email address in order to be able to send them a message. And so with the idea of using the group, then you can bypass that need of knowing their address. As long as you've been a member of LinkedIn for at least 30 days and a member of a specific group for at least 4 days, LinkedIn allows you to send up to 15 free one-to-one messages to fellow group members per month. That's phenomenal because that's about the only grouping that you're going to be able to work with. You know, if you were trying to send 100 messages out or 500 messages, you could never follow up. 15, I think, is a really good number on a monthly basis. What I've also found in our research is that LinkedIn group messages are more likely to receive a response than sending an email, a LinkedIn email, a standard email, or making a cold call. So if they're more likely to be responded to, isn't that a better way for you to use your business development efforts? And here's the home run part about LinkedIn groups. You widen your network because LinkedIn considers members of a common group a second-degree connection. So by joining just one group, the number of second-degree connections in your network will explode. So really critical to make sure you're in those right groups. I wanted to be able to show you some screenshots. LinkedIn is constantly changing. And so when you look at what the interface looks like today, you're going to be able to leverage those and find what you need to be able to find. So in the series of screenshots that you see here, the first you'll see is in the header area, the waffle or the grid. If you click on that waffle or the grid, you'll see a pull-down menu with one of the options being groups. If you click on groups, it will list the groups that you have, and you're able to hit the sprocket or the gear that's up on the right-hand side to be able to get to see more details on each of the groups. Those groups are then listed in order of when you've last visited them. And then if you go click on a specific group that you want to talk to, in my case here, I use sales and marketing executives. There are almost 250,000 members as of this tutorial. You click on the members, and what you will then get is an alphabetical list of the members. Then you can click on an individual member, and what you'll see is a profile, and you'll see view profile or message. And you can click right on the message and be able to send them a specific message. So I want to make it simple, but I want to make it important for somebody to reach back out to me. So here's an example of what I would send in a LinkedIn group message attempting to connect. I'm also a member of the Sales Best Practices group, and I've really enjoyed reading your posts. The piece you shared a week or two ago about the impact of purchasing and procurement on the sales process was pretty thought-provoking. I'd love to keep in touch and learn more about your work. Period. End of sentence. So if I go send that message out, what do you think the likelihood is that I will get a response? First off, I showed them how we were connected, part of a same group. Second, I complimented them on some of the posts they've been writing. A lot of times when people are writing posts, they're wondering, does anybody even read my posts? So I complimented them. And then third, I made the soft reach out to try to be able to connect with them. So if you effectively use LinkedIn groups, you'll never have to cold call again. You'll be able to work your magic. And even if you're not able to get as many connections as you would like to get, everyone that you connect on through LinkedIn will be a shorter path to making a sale or making a key connection. In this module, I want to talk about the importance of exporting your LinkedIn connections so you can do direct marketing campaigns, either email campaigns or mail campaigns, to your existing contact base. You know, a lot of times we have hundreds, if not thousands of contacts that we haven't touched base with in a very long time. And so wouldn't it be great to be able to mine business from people that are already connected to you in some form or fashion? So as LinkedIn continues to change its interface and how it works in terms of being able to use it for messaging and for groups, etc., I thought I'd walk you through on how to export your LinkedIn connections into an Excel spreadsheet so you can edit it effectively. So if you go on your main LinkedIn profile page and you click on My Network, what you'll see is a pull down of how many connections that you have. And there's a little piece over to the right that says Manage Synced and Imported Contacts. If you click on that button, the next pop-up you'll see is another one that says Advanced Actions, and one of those actions would be Exporting Contacts. If you click on Exporting Contacts, LinkedIn then sends you an email. And the message says your LinkedIn Data Archive FAST file is ready for you. You can download it with this link. Once you click on that particular link, it says, okay, here's your download, and then the download will give you a listing that shows you what has been downloaded. There's a section that says Contacts. If you click on your contacts, then you see an Excel spreadsheet with those contacts. That way you can go back in and edit. You can end up editing people that are not part of the campaign or somebody that you're already doing business with, etc. Now, I will tell you there's a piece here that I think is very important for you to have. And that is, a lot of times when people signed up for LinkedIn, they didn't sign up with their current business email address. Either they weren't working there before, or they used their personal email address, or they used a secondary business address, etc., to be able to join. So when you're using the Excel spreadsheet of the information and you don't have the current or the correct email address, you can use some of the email hunting software out there to be able to give you a probability of having the right address. So there's two that I'm familiar with, and one I use more often than not. The first one is called Hunter, and it stands for Email Hunter, and it's hunter.io. And what it does is you can put in somebody's name and the company they work for, and they will give you an email address and tell you the probability of that address being the correct address by looking through a systems of algorithms within LinkedIn, other people that work for that company. Another option for you to use is called Rapportive, Rapportive, Rapportive.com. I haven't used that one as much, so I'm not as familiar with it. And there are other email hunting softwares out there as well. So the whole reason for downloading your LinkedIn contacts is to be able to do targeted campaigns for people that have already connected with you in some form or fashion. In this LinkedIn tutorial, I covered three key areas. I talked about how to optimize your profile. I talked about how to leverage LinkedIn groups so you'll never have to cold call again. And I shared with you about how to download LinkedIn contacts so you can do targeted marketing campaigns to them. As you well know, LinkedIn is constantly changing, their interface, their platform, etc. So I always try to keep things updated. So if you would like to get more information, go to Boyens.com. We have quite a bit of information there. And as LinkedIn changes, we will update this tutorial as well to be able to give you the most current information. The whole key to LinkedIn is to be able to increase the size and quality of your pipeline, to be able to shorten your sales cycle, and to be able to close more business. And ultimately that means that you make more money. So leverage the tools that are available. LinkedIn today is the preeminent B2B marketing or networking tool that's out there. Use it to your advantage and watch your results skyrocket.